Think about the last time you said yes to something while your stomach tied itself in a knot. You probably smiled. You probably sounded polite. You probably made it easy for them. And then later, when it was over, you felt drained in a way that was hard to explain, not because the thing itself was so unbearable, because a part of you knew you abandoned yourself in that moment. That feeling adds up. It adds up every time you agree too quickly, every time you ignore that quiet resistance in your chest, every time you say yes just to avoid guilt, tension, disappointment, or being misunderstood. And after a while, the emptiness starts to set in, not all at once. Slowly. You become available to everyone, but absent from yourself. That's the real cost of people pleasing. It doesn't just tire you out, it disconnects you from your own voice. You stop checking what you actually feel. You stop asking what something is going to cost you. You just respond. Fast, automatic, useful. And when that becomes a pattern, your yes stops meaning anything because it's no longer coming from truth. It's coming from reflex. That's why one of the most powerful things you can learn is the radical pause. A pause before you answer. A pause before you commit. A pause long enough to hear yourself before your conditioning speaks for you. Not every request deserves an instant answer. Not every expectation deserves access to your energy. Sometimes the most honest thing you can say is, "Let me think about it." That pause matters because it breaks the old pattern. It gives you a chance to notice, do I actually want this? Do I have the capacity for this? Am I saying yes from honesty or from fear? That small gap can change your whole life. Because pleasing people is often fast. Truth is slower. Truth usually asks you to be still for a second, to feel the discomfort, to hear the no rising in you without rushing to bury it. And for a lot of people, that feels strange at first because they've built an identity around being agreeable, reliable, easy to ask, easy to lean on. But there comes a point where always being available starts making you feel invisible. You're there for everything, and somehow less present in your own life. That's why saying no is not selfish in the shallow way people make it sound. Sometimes saying no is how you restore your energy. Sometimes it's how you protect your peace. Sometimes it's the only way your yes can become real again. Because when you say yes to everything, your yes loses depth. It becomes scattered, resentful, half alive. But when you learn to say no to what drains you, your yes becomes clean. Now when you show up, you actually mean it. Now when you give, you're not secretly disappearing while doing it. Now your presence has weight because it's chosen. And that's what boundaries are really for. They are not walls to keep the world out. They are not cruelty. They are not punishment. They are structure. They are the framework that protects your ability to live with depth. Without boundaries, your life gets crowded with things you never truly chose. Other people's urgency, other people's needs, other people's expectations. And eventually, you look around and realize your life is full, but it doesn't feel like yours. That's a painful place to end up. So if you've been feeling empty lately, ask yourself where you've been overriding your own voice. Where have you been saying yes too fast? Where have you been ignoring the knot in your stomach? Where have you been treating your own resistance like something to silence instead of something to listen to? You do not get your energy back by giving more of yourself away. You get it back by returning to truth, by pausing, by listening, by letting your no be a full sentence when it needs to be. Because every honest no creates space for a more honest life. And every time you choose not to abandon yourself, your voice gets stronger, not louder, stronger, more steady, more clear, more sovereign, and maybe that's what this season is asking of you. Not to harden, not to disappear, not to become cold, just to stop betraying yourself in small, polite ways. Because the emptiness doesn't come from caring about others. It comes from choosing everyone else so often that you no longer know how to choose yourself.